I just slapped you. Are you alright?
What?
Wrong side of the road.
The movie begins in a small American fight club where two powerful fighters, Harris and Connor, are engaged in a fierce battle. Suddenly a girl named Frankie arrives and eagerly watches the fight. The fight is intense and dangerous, with both fighters displaying remarkable strength. Come on! Ultimately, Harris emerges as the winner. As he celebrates his victory, a boy named Elwood Dalton enters the ring with his face covered by a hoodie. Harris sees him and laughs, assuming he can easily defeat the boy. Elwood removed the hoodie, revealing his face. Upon seeing him, Harris immediately refuses to fight. The owner of the club gives the winning money to Elwood, declaring him the winner without a fight. Elwood heads to his car parked outside the club. Suddenly, an unknown man approaches and stabs Elwood with a sharp knife. The attacker is shocked because Elwood doesn't even flinch, so he quickly runs away, leaving the knife in Elwood's body. Frankie approached Elwood and informed him that she had gathered information about him. She recognized Elwood as a powerful and skilled fighter, but she believed that the small club fights wouldn't provide him with enough money or opportunities. She felt he deserved better. Elwood agreed with Frankie's assessment. She explained that she initially came to the club to recruit Harris, but after witnessing Elwood's fight, she decided to make a deal with him instead. Elwood asks Frankie about the job. She explains that she runs a small restaurant business in Florida, but some thugs are causing trouble for her. The police are unable to handle the situation. Frankie offers Elwood a job as a bouncer at her restaurant, with a good monthly income. Initially, Elwood refuses, but Frankie leaves her number with him before departing. Elwood goes to the train tracks, feeling really upset inside. He thinks about crashing his car into the train, but then changes his mind. When he tries to start his car, it won't work. The train crashes into his car, but somehow he doesn't get hurt. After all that, he sees Frankie's number and decides to call her. Elwood arrives in Florida to meet Frankie. Outside the bus station, he encounters a girl who runs a bookshop. She gives Elwood a book to help him learn about important places and things in Florida. Later, Elwood meets the girl's father and explains that he's come to work at a place called Roadhouse. Elwood enters the Roadhouse, which turns out to be a restaurant. Inside, he meets the manager, Laura. A boy named James approaches Elwood and expresses admiration, mentioning that Elwood was once the world heavyweight boxing champion, making Elwood happy. He then starts chatting with Laura. Frankie watches Elwood from the balcony. At night, people in the club start fighting, which happens often. James tries to stop them. Suddenly, Del, a thug, and his friends come in and create chaos. Del acts badly towards a girl, and James tries to help, but Del tells him to stay out of it. Elwood steps in and tells Del to talk outside. Del says no and keeps causing problems. Elwood threatens to damage the thugs' bikes and goes outside. Del and his friends follow him. Elwood warns Del and his friends to stop causing trouble and leave, but Del threatens him, saying if Elwood interferes, he'll be in danger. Elwood realizes Del won't listen, so he decides to teach him a lesson. Elwood puts them in his car and takes them to the hospital for treatment. Then, he leaves the hospital. A nurse named Ellie comes up to Elwood and tells him he's acting like a hero but behaving like a thug. Elwood explains he's not a thug but is just doing it for money. Feeling sorry, Ellie takes him to the hospital to treat his injuries. Elwood says thank you and leaves the hospital. As he walks out, some goons watch him. He goes back to the Roadhouse, where Frankie gives him some money. Elwood likes the place, but Frankie says it used to be even nicer. She offers him a boat to live on. Elwood is very happy living on the boat. He starts remembering past events, like going to boxing matches. Suddenly, he wakes up from a dream. Laura brings him food and tells him that many boxers tried to save the restaurant before but failed. She had considered leaving, but now that Elwood has arrived, she's hopeful again. Elwood is happy and thanks her. Elwood goes out to explore the area, and everyone recognizes him as a strong boxer. He visits the girl who owns the bookshop and asks her for permission to use the computer. While Elwood is busy working, the girl notices Del and his friends causing trouble again. She grabs a bat and warns Del not to disturb the public. They start humiliating the girl, but when they see Elwood, all the goons run away. Elwood praises the girl for her bravery and then heads to the roadhouse. Ben is on the ship, enjoying himself. He asks his worker goons why they're afraid of Elwood when he told them to disturb and worry the people at the roadhouse. He mocks his workers, calling them cowards. In the evening, fights break out again. Elwood trains James to fight the goons, and he joins James in battling the troublemakers. Everyone at the roadhouse becomes a fan of Elwood's bravery. Elwood has another dream where he's fighting in a boxing match. He wakes up immediately, shaking, as he's been having these scary dreams for a few days now. The next morning, he goes to the restaurant for breakfast and meets the same nurse, Ellie. She comes over to Elwood, and they start discussing the current situation with the goons in the city, where even the police can't do much. Ellie and Elwood spend some quality time in the restaurant, and they realize they're starting to like each other. In the evening, Elwood walks home and gets attacked by Den's goons.
Try the shit. Move!
You're a real pain in my ass. But I'm gonna just shoot you.
The next morning, Elwood is still upset about Ben's death. The man sitting next to Elwood warns him that crocodiles are very dangerous in the area. Elwood leaves the place and walks down the street, where a goon appears and tells him that his boss, Ben, wants to meet him. Elwood breaks the goon's fingers, saying if Ben wants to meet him, he should come himself. Elwood goes to meet Frankie. Frankie thanks him, saying that Den's death has relieved them of constant pressure. Elwood asks Frankie why Dan was targeting Roadhouse, why he always wanted to disrupt the peace there. Frankie denies knowing the reason. The scene then cuts to the goon returning to Ben and informing him of what Elwood said. Ben becomes very angry and declares that he won't get Roadhouse as long as Elwood is there. A dangerous goon named Knox is shown, setting the place on fire and robbing people. He gets a call from Ben's father, ordering him to clear out Roadhouse immediately. Ellie reaches Elwood's ship and offers him a ride for enjoyment. They arrive at the nearest island where they have fun. Ellie tells Elwood that Ben's father developed the entire place. She then asks Elwood about his background, but he refuses to share anything from his past. Ellie confesses her love for him and kisses him. Ben reaches his palace and finds Knox there. Knox mocks Ben, saying he failed to kill Elwood, and now Ben's father wants Knox to do the job. Ben requests a second chance from Knox, promising to kill Elwood this time. Knox agrees to give Ben a second chance to remove Elwood from Roadhouse. Elwood returns to his ship and encounters the police, who take him to the police station and start beating him. Jim pulls out a gun and threatens to kill Elwood if he doesn't leave. Ellie arrives at the scene and slaps Jim, then takes Elwood with her. Ellie reveals that Jim is her father. Initially, her father was good, but now he works for Ben's father. Ellie explains that Ben and his father want to open a resort in Roadhouse where they can conduct drug business. The goons come to the girl's bookshop to burn it down, but the girl is ready to fight them. In the evening, Elwood returns to the Roadhouse where he meets Ben. Ben tells him that he knew Elwood wouldn't leave Roadhouse even if offered a huge amount of money. Ben begins to manipulate Elwood, revealing that he's looked into Elwood's past and knows about a fight he had with his best friend, resulting in his friend's death. Elwood feels saddened by the memory of his friend's death due to his anger issues and doesn't respond to Ben. Angered by Elwood's silence, Ben goes outside where Knox is waiting for him. Ben orders Knox to kill Elwood. Knox, along with his fellow goons, storm into the club breaking things and attacking people, causing chaos and destruction. Elwood intervenes to stop the situation, and Knox recognizes him, declaring his intention to kill Elwood.
So you brought all your friends with you?
I thought you might miss having an audience.
Elwood sustains serious injuries, and the Roadhouse restaurant is completely destroyed. Frankie is deeply upset by the situation. Frankie apologizes to Elwood for keeping it from him that Ben wants to take over Roadhouse to establish his drug operation there. She expresses her refusal to sell Roadhouse, explaining that Ben has taken money from the Mafia to destroy it. If he fails, the Mafia will kill him. Elwood feels disheartened and leaves the place. Elwood arrives at the bus station to leave Florida, but he notices that the entire bookshop of the girl has been burnt down by the goons. He rushes inside the shop to search for the girl and her father, where a man informs him that the goons have beaten them badly, and they are seriously injured and in the hospital. Elwood recognizes these goons as part of Ben's army. He realizes that Ben has done this to seek revenge on Elwood because Elwood and the girl from the bookshop are good friends. Elwood decides to stay in Florida to teach Ben a final lesson. Elwood becomes angry and attacks the goon, ultimately killing him. Afterward, Elwood expresses concern about his own anger, admitting that he easily loses control over it. Elwood then remembers his fight with his best friend, where his aggression and anger led to his friend's death. This incident resulted in Elwood being banned from boxing worldwide. He was actually dreaming and becomes quite upset by recalling this terrible memory. The next day, an officer is loading money onto a boat to give to the Mafia involved in drug dealing. Elwood arrives and kills the officer, taking the money. He opens the box and finds a large sum of money inside. While on the boat, Jim arrives and tells Elwood that Ben has kidnapped his daughter, Ellie, and is demanding the return of his money. Elwood tells Jim that he will go to Ben's boat with the money and Jim agrees. After a few hours, Elwood arrives at Ben's location. He sees Ben and Jim there. Jim mentions that he doesn't see the money bag, to which Elwood responds that he also doesn't see Ellie, realizing it's a trap set by Jim and Ben. Ben reveals that Ellie is kidnapped below the boat. Knox also arrives at the spot. Elwood quickly pushes a button, causing the boat to be destroyed and fill with water.
You're gonna die!
Go, Ellie!
Dalton, come on!
The boat, along with Ben, hits the roadhouse, resulting in its destruction. Elwood goes to the roadhouse where Ben and Knox are waiting for him. They start fighting again.
Be nice!
Do it!
What does it take to shoot you?
Jim arrives and asks Elwood to leave the place. Frankie and Steven start rebuilding their destroyed roadhouse restaurant. Elwood sits at the bookshop where he meets with the girl who owns it. She bids him farewell and hopes that Elwood will return. The girl's father finds the money box left by Elwood, which belonged to Ben. In the final scene, Knox is seen in the hospital, having survived, and he starts causing destruction there. The movie ends with an open-ended conclusion, hinting at a possible next part focusing on Knox's revenge against Elwood. If you enjoyed this recap, then please subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, turn on the notification bell and share the video for more awesome movie recaps. Thank you for watching.